And welcome back to the Football Fanatic podcast. This is Declan O'Connor here, episode 49. With me, as always, the reliable Howard, Mossy, and Dan Coulter. Man, how are you last week and a half? How's life? What
Boring.
did what did you do with your international break?
I kind of left moved house, I suppose,
Really?
and yeah, so I
Moved into a new one? Very good.
moved into yeah, an occupied new one. Yeah, I won't get into the details, but it's
That's fair enough. Yeah,
yeah,
nobody wants to hear it, man. It's
it's I'm
okay.
in a different room, put it that way, for these podcasts.
Very
That's
good.
the height of it. So there's a bit of work involved in that.
Okay, Moss, how are you doing?
Grand, yeah. I kind of just took a break from soccer, lads. I didn't really watch, couldn't stomach. I watched the highlights of the Finland game when Ireland won, and I was like, we could watch the next game. I tried
Got
to
a,
watch the Greece game, and I just like, I can't do this. So I kind of took a bit of a break from soccer. Life is good aside from that.
you had a cleanse, yeah?
I waited patiently to see if Ten Hag was going to be fired. Then he wasn't. Then he's still there, and this
Still
kind of was
there,
my
amazing.
rigmarole for the last week and a half.
Very good. And Dan, how about yourself?
Yeah, it was fucking miserable, wasn't it? Like it really
Yeah,
is. Like it's yeah, it's grim. It's grim. Yeah, I went to what to do? I went to a play and
Jesus.
I what to do? Yeah, caught up on some Netflix and I telly stuff. Yeah, but like
Are you
I don't
watching
know. I
anything
just
good?
what have I watched at the moment now? Actually, started watching something that's decent. Tell Me Lies.
I've heard
No,
of it. I've never seen it. I
yeah,
s-
watching that at the moment. It's all right. And what did I finish there recently? It was actually very good. The Patient. No, did you see that with
yeah, yeah. Steve
Steve
Carell.
Carell?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
like
yeah.
that one.
yeah.
It's an
That was
odd
very
one, isn't
good.
it? It's odd,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
about a therapist
yeah.
and
Yeah.
a kind of a
And
yeah guy going around
we won't give
murdering
it
people and
away,
stuff.
but yeah.
No,
It's
I
good
like
though.
that one.
Yeah,
You have to
I've
watch.
started
yeah.
So
watching I started watching Mindhunter.
Oh, it's very good.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
Very,
yeah,
very
yeah,
Two
yeah.
good.
seasons are good, yeah.
It's very,
Yeah.
very only a few
Someone
episodes
recommended
in.
Monsters. I think it's up on Netflix now as well. Oh, and actually, Jack, our Vince McMahon, watch that as well. Finished out that as
I
well. Yeah,
uh,
Vince McMahon documentary.
it's
Yeah,
it's an interesting one. If you're into
yeah,
wrestling, you know the majority of it already.
yeah.
But yeah, Monsters, is that the Menendez one?
Yeah, I
Oh
think
yeah,
so.
yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's supposed to be good. Yeah, yeah.
Crazy
starts
story.
off quite a grand, and then you read it gets rather bleak and dark in the middle of it there.
Fair enough.
So
The
you
Pope.
wouldn't watch the Valentine's Day Massey, so no.
No, there's a mid one of the middle episodes that I was like, oh, this is tough watch. Like I felt
I,
emotionally traumatized after watching it.
yeah, I tell you one just funny before we get into actual football. But I one Valentine's Day. I This is back now in the Extravision era,
Ah, yes.
where you could rent out something. So I rented out a DVD, and it was
You
kind
went
of
to
was like a
the
rom com. You know, like obviously Valentine's Day, like spread something whatever that the missus would like, and
something hot.
put on this rom com anyway. I thought it was a rom com. Your one was in it. What do you call your one? That was Hermione and Harry Potter. She was in
Emma
it.
Watson, is it?
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and it turned out anyway. Like it started grand, and then it got into like a story about abuse and self harm, and it was got just one of these where I thought I just said, yeah, that ruined the evening.
Is that
Let's
the
just leave it that way.
Wild of Flowers? Is it Perks
That's
of
the one,
Yeah,
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 yeah. I
yeah,
actually haven't seen it,
yeah,
but yeah, I know the movie right about.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
the perks of being a wallflower.
yeah, yeah,
Wildflower,
yeah.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
not a
thought it
bad
was a
film
rom com.
actually.
Yeah, it's not a rom com though.
No, it's not. It's not wrong. Well, it's not a comedy. No, definitely not. But there's a
Oh
great scene
god.
actually where they're going through a tunnel and David Bowie, Heroes, is actually like the overplaying song in the background. It's not a bad film. It's all right.
Right, we need to
No,
get.
it's not a Valentine's Day night film. You want something to put you in the mood, Dan.
Yeah,
That's a
no,
complete mood killer right there.
no, yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway,
All right, on to real stuff, on to football, stuff that actually matters. Um, all right, so back to it after the weekend away. Arsenal slipped up. Howard, Bournemouth 2, Arsenal Lille. We're going to start with the main talking point of the game. It was Saliba getting sent off. It was a yellow, then it went to VAR and it was overruled and went to a red. So I'll start with you. What do you think? First of all, was it a red? Was it not? Their overall performance?
Yeah, I think at the time when yellow was shown, I was like, we got a bit lucky, and I was thinking to myself, with the two red cards, with the Rice one in particular, like, or maybe, as you said, Deck, what comes around, it all cancels each other out. You get a bit of luck here, you get a bit of, you get unlucky at other times. So I thought maybe this would have been one of them times that we got, that he got away with a yellow card.
Yeah.
And then when it went to VAR and got the red card, you know, you can see exactly why it's given as a red card, you know. But I thought maybe it's a strange one to overturn after giving the yellow. I thought, looking back at it, like I think it almost kind of feels like they wanted to send him off more so than trying to keep him on the pitch, and I think you can argue like the Rice one, like the Trossard one. You can argue both sides. You can argue, okay, Veltman threw the ball into Rice. You know, it should why yeah, it was unlucky to get sent off, or Rice was pitching. You can argue both sides, but I suppose after all the decisions have gone, the red cards with Arsenal this season, it's just you can see why they're given, but we've just I felt like being on the side of the 50-50 decision. I feel like we've been on the negative side each time. And I was thought maybe we mightn't get that this time with this decision, but it was obviously I kind of was, said it was fine, red card, could agree with it, and then obviously what happened yesterday in the Liverpool game, with the like carbon copy, and it got a yellow card and there was nothing in it. I like the whole Howard Webb thing in the crowd. Obviously, was a bit of an additional
Yeah.
optic mindfuck, if you forgive my language, but like it was a bit like on his phone, earpiece in, going to VAR, he's going
Yeah.
waving his hands. It was just a bit weird. Like, but I don't personally believe he had any input at all into what was going on. But I just thought the optics looked very bad from the PGML MOL side of things, and I just think, look, I don't think it was Stonewall. I know Dan texted me saying Stonewall red card. I
And
think I think it was the distance from the
Hang
goal.
on, hang on. Yeah, go on, keep talking there. Hang on. What was my
Yeah,
message?
I think
Because
the
I don't think the
distance.
word Stonewall was in it, so I'm not going to be misquoted here. Now, go on, keep
Okay,
going.
maybe not. Maybe you didn't say that. But you said like you're delighted it went back and looked at it or whatever. But anyway, I felt at the time, due to the distance away from the goal, he had a lot to do to actually put it back in the back of the net. Like Saliba is a very quick defender. Like if Saliba doesn't foul him, he gets back. He gets back and actually can make the tackle. Ben White can actually could possibly make a tackle. Like
could you
Dean,
just
yeah, go on.
apologies to cut across? Just could you argue though that Saliba took him down because he thought that he was away on goal, like,
Well,
and he
it
may
was.
not have caught him.
It's an instinctive pull. Like the key thing there is that yeah, Ivan. Oh, how do you say his name?
Nielsen.
Ivan Nielsen. Yeah, he's actually in offside position, but
Yeah,
it's Trossard who plays a terrible pass. First of all,
very
Trossard
bad pass. Yeah,
Trossard plays a terrible pass. That's unacceptable. Saliba in a blink of an eye, his instinctive thing is to pull him back. But again, obviously not in a not a great thing to do in that scenario because he's the last man. And look, we've seen in the past, last man gets a red card 9 times out of 10. But I've seen a lot of examples in the last couple of years of players getting taken down near the halfway line, last man, and it's a yellow card. So it's a real toss up between yellow and red,
oh,
and I just felt it
yeah,
was a bit weird to change the on field decision from yellow to red after it is. We're
yeah.
not trying to re-ref the game as Howard Webb keeps coming out, but then there's a reason to re-ref it when you need to re-ref it. It's just a bit like using the fucking whatever rules they want to make up to their own benefit. Like it just, I felt it was a bit, slightly
Oh, that's
went
fair
went on
enough.
the other side of the 50-50, I thought, in
We'll
that
come to
case.
the lads now in a sec, but just Gary Neville said yesterday that even with 10 men and our team they have, Arsenal should still
I
be beating
agree. Yeah.
Bournemouth.
I, I
Like,
I agree, yeah. And I think Arsenal haven't been apart from okay, a Brighton game I didn't think they played well when it went down 10 men. City, obviously, I thought they defended very well for that half. And like you got to do that against City because it's they're a freak team. But yeah, the Bournemouth game, I agree as well. I think Arteta goes into too much of a cautious mode when we're down 10 men. I think the league is so down to little tiny
yeah,
spaces levels that like if he thinks they go a small bit of an attacking threat that he leaves them exposed. And I think he does that a bit too. He's too cautious in that aspect. And like if we drew the game, grand, but we didn't. We lost the game. So I felt we could have. I think Martinelli should have scored that goal again. You
yeah.
need to be clinical in these decisions in these moments in the season when you're down 10 men. Like Saka, the same thing happened in the Brighton game when it went down 10 men. He had a great opportunity, didn't score. So like they need to be better, but like it is a difficult league. The Arsenal, if they had won 2 or 3 Premier Leagues under their title or under their belt in the last few
Yeah.
years, they would have gone and won that game. It's just that they don't have that experience of being a title winning team, having that belief that they're going to go on and win these things. They still have an underbelly there, especially when they're down to 10 men, and that's just the facts of it, I think.
And just a quick one before I go to the lads. Saka, Odegaard, Timber. Is there like
Mm.
a timeline for these to come back?
I think Saka will be back for the Liverpool game. Timber
Okay.
is unknown. I'd say he could be back for the Liverpool game. Odegaard won't be back for the Liverpool game. And to be honest, like if you gave us that, like with Odegaard out, I think we've done pretty well to date. And obviously that's the loss there at the weekend was unfortunate. I just think we need to keep 10 players or 11 players on the pitch. Like it's as simple as that. 3 red cards in
Yeah,
8 games is not good enough. As you
no.
said, Mossy, Arsenal had a situation with red cards, under Arteta, and like that was squashed, over the last
Yeah.
season or two. But it seems to be rising its head again. But I suppose out of the 3 red cards Arsenal have got, this one I could be on board with the most because it's an actual red card that can affect the team scoring a goal. So I can get on board with that more so than the stupid delaying the start, restart crap.
Dan,
Can I ask you just who play now alongside Gabriel next Sunday?
It'll be I'd say if Timber's fit, it'll be Ben White alongside
Oh yeah.
alongside Gabriel, or it'll be if Timber's not fit, it'll be Kivior playing alongside him, I'd say. Which
so
wouldn't be great.
Dan or Moss, whichever one is on to you now. What do you make of the whole Arsenal conundrum at the moment? The 3 red cards in 8 games, as Howard said. The red card at the weekend, is discipline a factor? Like, are they a bit naive? Could they be winning that type of game despite being down to 10 men? Any thoughts
Are they
on
ref
that?
differently? I'll just put that one as well. Are they ref
Go on,
I-
differently?
Moss. You brought up the red card in corners. You go on in there first. You kind of brought up around the disciplinary side of things. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Howard brought, I suppose that had improved, so I actually went looking it up, and it had improved massively in the last 2 to 3 seasons. You could argue that was petulance that got 2 stupid mistakes really in terms of the Trossard and the Rice ones. In previous seasons, you may not have got sent off for that. But I would also bring forth the question that Calafori was very lucky not to have also got a red card, a second yellow, which could have easily been 4, which could be a 50%.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
I think in relation to the Saliba's red card, I find it hard to argue against it being a red card, to be honest, based on where Ray's position of moving back, he was running in space, and it doesn't mean he has to score. It has to be a goal scoring opportunity. And that one-on-one, even though he could have been under pressure, I believe he was going one-on-one. It's a goal scoring opportunity. And he may not have scored based on Evan Nielsen's finishing since he joined. Potentially not.
I agree with you. I do agree with you, Rossi, but in the rule book, distance from the goal feeds into that decision that they make for that last man red card.
And that would be where I'd argue, Howard, that the Liverpool one is different in that the ball is bending away. Caldwell, the ball was in fact looking like it was going closer to Caldwell. And I think that was the difference in those 2 decisions, and as to why that was the yellow and the other one's the red.
I get that, but it's we're looking at such subjective speeds of players and all this, and that's where I think coming in with a VAR saying it's a clear and obvious decision after, like, I could get it if it was a red card straight away off the bat from the ref. I 100% get it, but this thing then of saying it's a red because we're going to check it in the VAR, I think they're trying to find it to.
But that's why they'd go yellow first, though, because VAR is there. I think that's why they'll give a yellow first, and then it goes to VAR. If you get me, I think if we had no VAR,
maybe you're right.
Cards. I think they're both red cards if we had no VAR. To be honest with you, I think the refs really want to give the red for both of them.
Because I feel like they were given a lot more as red cards back in the day.
Yeah,
any last man, they
have managed that, and they went to double jeopardy and all those things. Like, I do think they've changed. Like, I do think Arsenal, like, it is a decision that you might get lucky the odd time and you get away with, but 19% of the time you get the red, and you can't overly argue it. My issue with Arsenal was, out of those 3 games, to be down to 10 men. The Brighton game was the one that they probably created or played a bit after getting the player sent off. Whereas, like, they got the player sent off in 30 minutes and they decided to go completely defensive. Like, they're against a Bournemouth team that are good, but they're better, like, pressing teams up high, and Arsenal are completely capable, passing the ball around and making them work and putting a bit of pressure on them. And that would be where my issue would be. I think that you've mentioned that Arteta went so conservative so quickly. Like, if you want to be that top team and you're in that situation, you do need to win the odd one. They've only got, out of 52 potential points where they've got players sent off, they've got 17 or 16. So like they're letting themselves down. They're quick going to that comeback. City completely get it. Brighton, they did okay, I thought, but I really thought, I don't know whether it's scars of the previous 2 days, the previous two events. I'm not sure, but it's this continuous situation that it's fine margins in the league, and like if Liverpool win, it's 7 points, and that's a significant lead in the next game. So it's kind of those kind of things.
I get that. Honestly, the only thing, the counter thing I say that's maybe if we had Odegaard and Saka on the pitch, would we have played a different way? I probably don't. I think we probably would have played the same way, like that offensive way. But maybe there's a way of, maybe Arteta's thinking, well, we're missing two of our most creative players. Let's just sit back here and get them on the counter attack rather than.
It seems a little bit in their psyche, though. It seems to be affecting the team that we're aware of it. Whereas there isn't that maybe confidence, arrogance that you'd expect, and a divergence away from Arteta's initial coaching style, which was possession and control based. Like although he did have solid defense, he did control the ball, and it just seems to be something that they haven't done well the last one. Now, it is early in the season. You're talking 8 games in. All things considered, they're doing very well. They've consistently seem to be doing things the hard way, and you just can't keep doing that. Like you're going in, they played a game.
You need to learn, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
10
and Arteta needs to learn, like, from his side of things. You know what I mean?
He's doing an excellent job. I just find it those little things frustrating, and some of the maybe would credit I would give him is I think in his post match interview he didn't do the typical Arteta thing of really going in on the ref. I thought he was a bit more media savvy and a little less petulant than he normally can be. So I would give him credit in relation to that.
Dan,
yeah,
what do you think?
Firstly, you're right, Howard. I said that was a red for Saliba. Then a minute later, thank you, VAR, because it was a yellow when I said it was a red for Saliba. And I said Stonewall red. Okay. Because my view is quite simple, is that in both them instances, the 2 games they're talking about is I think they're both red cards for both. That would be my view, that they're both cynical. There always will be that argument, can't really get a player get back, is a recovery player there. I think in both instances there's potential, yes and no, as Howard kind of said there, like that they could go either way. But for me, they were both red cards. So that's the first thing. I think I think a big part of Arsenal's problem is Odegaard missing, to be honest with you. Because I think that Odegaard is the linchpin that speeds up Arsenal's play. He's the one that feeds the ball in, he gets the ball in behind, gets the likes of Saka and Martinelli, gets through balls to them. They don't have another player that can do that. The best they probably have maybe is Trossard that can kind of find that pass. They don't have it. So I think that's one problem. Havertz also isn't a striker that's going to stretch a team. He very much is the way they played this season. They kind of get it into him. He's really, really good at what he does from that side of things. But I think that slows them down too. Havertz playing through the middle, missing Odegaard. So because they haven't been that great to watch this season, Arsenal, really. Like they haven't really set the world alight. They still have a decent points tally, but they don't look great. As kind of Mossy's kind of alluding to, I think, there as well. So I think he's a massive miss. Whether or not they would have played differently or not, I think they do. I think when Odegaard plays, they automatically play different because of his pressing game from the front and just how good he is. Like he's one of the best players in the league. The argument you can make is that they have spent quite a lot of money, and yet when you look at the players they have coming in, i.e. Sterling coming in, like it's a big drop from Saka to Sterling. Let's be honest about it. They never really got that left-sided replacement that Saka pretty much plays every minute when he's fit. I just think they look like there's something like missing in that kind of attack when there's 1 or 2 players out. And I think was it Never or somebody was on about it again. They can't use that as an excuse now because I suppose they've gone close to winning the title. They spent a lot of money. They should be able to get a couple of injuries. They should be able to still beat the likes of a Bournemouth, which is fair too. But I think that's their problem really. I think the red card thing aside, the players, the likes of an Odegaard there, I think they don't have another player like that in their side. And I think everything is a bit more slower build up, a bit more kind of, they are physical, they can be petulant, they can be the dark arts that they've been referred to recently of using of the game. But like they definitely are missing the spark, and I think that's Odegaard. So I know he's not too far away. And they're still a solid side. I think whatever it is about the 10 men thing, it is a bit strange. They kind of don't seem like, I think if City or someone else goes down to 10 men to control the game better, Arsenal don't seem
Yeah.
to be able to control it when they're down to 10. And as you said, Howard, maybe they do get a small bit. Automatically, the mentality is to kind of like drop back a bit and kind of like you would have thought they still would have brought the game to Bournemouth, which they didn't really.
Yeah, like that's on Arteta. That's on Arteta. Like that, like
Yeah.
you know, you can't really. I wouldn't blame the players for that. I think he has a certain way of playing when you go down 10 men, and I don't think it's particularly beneficial game to a way of winning the game. Dare I say?
You were saying, Howard, just before Mossy came in, you were about to allude to the refs that Arsenal are given, etc. Just a very quick question before we move on to the next game. Do you think there's a vendetta against Arsenal? 100%. Yes.
I think there is a biasness towards them. Like I genuinely think there's a biasness towards them from some referees. And whether that's because the referees don't like some of the players, they don't like Arteta maybe, they don't like him, as you say, Mossy coming out after the game moaning about decisions. I think stuff like that might get on their nerves a bit, and it's if they see an opportunity to give a red card by the letter of the law, they're more likely to do that, I feel, with this Arsenal team. I genuinely think that, and I don't think there's a conspiracy. I don't think the City are funding all the referees. I don't think any of that. I don't think any of that.
You did in our group though say
No,
that
like
the referee was a Liverpool fan at the bar.
Yeah, well, like exactly, like
so you do think
well,
more than just...
why is a Liverpool fan who can't ref?
But this has always been the way, Howard. It's the way it's been for about fucking 30 years.
But he can't ref a Liverpool or Everton game, but he can ref a game right before Liverpool played him. Do you know what I mean? Or
I
make a decision.
Sure, Howard, we'd never have a referee if we did that. Like.
I know, but like I just say, maybe when Arsenal are playing Liverpool next week, maybe don't put a Liverpool ref on the game. Like
City fans should ref.
It's not that difficult.
Like. A City fan should ref it, should they?
Is there going to be a Liverpool fan involved with the game next weekend?
No, there's not going to be. Sure, he's not allowed. He's not allowed.
No.
He's not allowed.
Sorry,
okay.
Yeah,
Howard's point was
he was on VAR, the guy who made the decision.
Well, I know. Like we're laughing at Howard's like insanity here, but I actually do agree with Howard. Like he shouldn't be involved because the margins are so fine that like one decision can affect so much that like I'm kind of I see both of your points.
Well, hang on a second. That has been the case for 30 years.
I know, and it's not right.
This isn't something new. Like it's this.
Well, VAR is new.
Yeah, VAR is new. But what your point you were making is that the VAR official was a Liverpool fan. What I'm trying to say to you is that like across the Premier League over the last 30 years, we could make this argument for lots of different. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about VAR, but your point isn't VAR. Your point was that there was a referee involved with the game that was a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, I just think VAR. You can look back at videos. You have more time to make decisions on decisions that you want to make with VAR rather than a one-off decision with a referee. Do you not think?
Yeah, but I just think the whole thing about it being the Liverpool fan or who's reffing the game, like this is something that referees have had for the last
I agree.
They're all fans.
There's always going to be fans of other teams reffing. Like that's always going to be a way. But like you can't say that they're going to be completely 2000% unbiased in their decision making. I know we want to say we're all
never could.
You never could. Like so. Like
but I think at the end of the day, Howard, if you want to be a top team, you're always going to have decisions go against you, and you need to adapt and overcome.
100%. 100%, Mossy. But you also need a bit of luck to win the league. Like you know what I mean?
You need a bit of luck.
You need a mixture of both. Like so, it's. I felt like out of the 3 red cards, we might have got one of them that wasn't. But again, I can see the argument for all of them as well. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying. We'll get on to other decisions that went during the weekend, but I think, let's say there was a couple of decisions that maybe went for other teams that, maybe we could do getting in the next couple of weeks. We'll see. Like as you say, Deck. Hopefully, this will all balance out over the whole process of the season. So,
can we give some credit to Bournemouth before we go?
Yeah, exactly.
I thought Semenyo was fantastic. He's such a good player. Lewis Cook, I don't understand how that man is not in the English team. Like he just makes that whole.
The first goal was brilliant. The corner,
the set piece was so well worked. It was beautifully finished. Like he literally saw Christie go. It worked. Like you could see him say it. Like it just. I thought they
Yeah.
were very good. I openly said in the podcast I did like them before, but Areola has been playing good stuff, and like they can take
He
their front
does,
three
yeah.
off and still bring it on Clivert and whatnot. Like they've really built squad depth there, and I think any of the top teams are going to be find it. I think Bournemouth will push any of the top teams in relation to how aggressive they press and the threat that they possess up front. And the middle teams where they kind of don't keep the ball as well, that's where Bournemouth seem to struggle. But they've had a good enough start to the season, and
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
Areola is doing a very good job there.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
he might be there that long, I don't think, will he? Actually, the way it looks like he could see him. I
You
think.
can see him moving on. You can see him being
Yeah,
in
yeah,
demand. Absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. We'll move on to Wolves 1, Man City 2. So again, this is another VAR intervention here in the last minute of the game that kind of decided this. So I want to get your thoughts on this one. Johnny Stones, I love it. It was on Facebook over the weekend. He's a footballing icon. I don't, I don't know if he's that yet, but that's what the report had kind of said. Now, granted, it was a Man City kind of report that was written, but a footballing icon, they called
Well,
him. It was a great
to be
header.
fair, Deck, to be
Yeah.
fair, Calafiori, who Arsenal after buying, models his play on John Stones, and that's where he developed and was his idol. So, like, he's
There you
iconic
go.
to
They
some
had
people.
they
Going
call him
now.
like the Barnsley Beckenbauer and stuff like this. You know what I mean?
He's
Like
there a long time, Tech. How long is he there? He's
he
there a long
is.
time.
He's there. He's there. This is his 9th season now.
Wow, yeah, yeah.
He's been there like he's 30
He's won
now.
the
He's
lot.
been there. He's been there since he just turned 22. So I mean, he was nearly on his way out until Ruben Diaz was signed, and he just made a brilliant partnership with John Stones, and he saved him. He was on the way out, and then he kind of whatever confidence he gave
He
him, he
got
saved
he
him.
got the ball flicked over him by Falcao. Remember that in the Champions League? Was it a little
Yeah.
flick over his head, and then I think Falcao clipped it over the keeper,
Was
and
this
then
the
that was it.
Monaco game? Was it?
Yeah, everyone was
Yeah.
like, Stones is done. That was it.
Yeah.
Everyone thought he was done.
Oh,
Like,
he was as good as gone, and then Diaz came along, confidence went up, and then he just had a fantastic season, got a new 4-year contract, and he's been pretty good. Like I remember the Champions League final against Inter, he was like man of the match. There's something about him, like he's like the City fans love him, even though he hasn't done anything like unbelievably, huge for City. But the weekend he popped up with a very, very important goal because yeah, we battered them, but we couldn't break them down, and it was a set piece. And you can argue whether it was a foul or not. That's what I want to get your opinions on. Dan, I will start with you.
Yeah,
Goal or no goal?
yeah, I was looking at the watch because I wasn't watching the game. I was in college, and I just seen all these messages coming in. I didn't know what had happened, and then I looked at the time. And I was like, "All right, the game is obviously over." And I was like, "Was it a goal or not a goal?" Because you were all kind
yeah,
of
you wanted to know, yeah.
there was messages happen, and I was like, what's after happening here?" And then I knew straight away that it was something filth, and I imagined that it was City. I can't imagine that it was fucking Wolves going up and scoring because I didn't know it was 1-1 at half time. But yeah, I watched it, and I think like what Howard had said around maybe the Saliba and the Jota, them two instances where they could have went either way. I think that one could have went either way as well. I think we've seen it over the last year or two, ones where the kind of that the keeper's vision kind of getting in the way. We've seen ones given, I think, for that. I
There
suppose
was
what
actually
helps
ones
them
given
is
against Wolves last year.
Yeah,
there
that's
was,
that's
yeah,
the
West
big
Ham.
thing that Wolves
yeah,
are pissed off at.
yeah. It was the West Ham, wasn't it? The West Ham
Yeah,
game.
West
Against
Ham
West Ham,
was
yeah.
West Ham.
And it was
Yeah,
very,
yeah.
very similar.
So it's very similar. So I think City, you can argue both sides of the coin on that one. I kind of think the fact that Silva kind of was out of his way nearly as he was headering it, maybe is the
Yeah.
reason why it was given. Probably, I thought it was a bit lucky that they got it, but I suppose it's just one of them again where, obviously, you don't want City to win the game. So the biased view would be, like definitely shouldn't have been, given a typical fucking City last minute winner. How many times have they done it? But I think there is a bit of kind of he did move away from him. He was at him before the corner was taken, and as the ball was in the air. And then I read something online today, something about that he can't be active until he was doing it kind of before the ball was even in play, before the ball was even coming at him. So that technically, again, the letter of the law, Howard, that lovely phrase that we all love, that what Silva was doing, there was nothing wrong because he got out of the way or was attempting to get out of the way when the ball came in. So yeah, I think it's one of them, or it could have went either way in that as well. But I don't think it was a definite. I don't think that Wolves got a definite doing, but I do understand that. I think last season, did Gary O'Neill or VAR, didn't they have a hate decisions go against them last season?
Oh, load, yeah.
Didn't they?
Yeah,
Loads,
yeah.
like, yeah.
They brought in a motion to get VAR get rid of. They were the
That's
only
right.
team,
Yeah.
they
that
were
was
the only
Wolves,
team to vote to get rid of VAR. Everyone else voted against. So,
yeah.
but look, City have been Rodri being out is huge, obviously, and we have definitely kind of I won't say we've gone back a step, but we're definitely, we're struggling to be as good as we can be, and it is very largely down to Rodri being missing. But we're getting results.
Dec,
Go ahead.
Can I just say, in the whatever 93rd minute when Wolves were attacking and Nunes came
foul
back.
thing, is it?
Yeah, Nunes
he
came
put that into
back.
the group,
Like
seen
that
that.
for me is a blatant foul. I don't know how the referee
Hold on,
did.
you said this into the group, and I looked at it again, and I was like,
Like he pushes him in the back. Like he gets the
He
ball,
is
but he
foul.
pushes
he
him in the
gets
back.
the
Like,
ball. I don't know, does he push him in the back?
oh man, he's like
His
he
hand on his back, Dick.
his
Definitely-
two
Yeah,
hands
it's a
on the
foul,
back.
yeah.
Like it's like, and that's I think another reason why Gary O'Neill has come out and say like, oh, our Man City ref differently than other teams. Because like
Yeah.
he's seen this. He's like, if they get a free there, they're home and dry. They might even nick a goal. Like it was one of them ones. It's like it's a strange one not to give it. Okay, maybe the ref is looking at the ball. He's like, oh, he gets the ball. He doesn't see the top part of it. But I could understand maybe from a Wolves perspective to be more pissed off about that than the VAR thing.
Well, like
for me, it was a goal. The corner.
Yeah,
Like.
we have all watched that type of tackle hundreds of times over the years where he does get the ball and the player with the ball goes flying.
Mm.
I mean, and look, when again, your arm is in an unnatural position when you're making that tackle. Like you're going in with
you balance yourself when you're playing football. You put your foot forward, but in order to keep yourself balanced, you have to push off someone else to keep so you nearly hook your leg around them. But it is a foul though.
I've seen the foul given. I've seen the play on. I've seen both. To be honest, we all have. But
to be fair,
I'll take
in
your
the
point.
United game, Dallo nearly did the exact same tackle from behind, won the ball, but pushed your man, and he got not alone was it free, he got a yellow card for it. So
fair enough.
Can I ask the question, Howard? Was the referee a Southampton fan?
Oh well, he's a City fan. He's from City. He's from Manchester. Yeah, sure. He was wearing.
Oh, corruption! Fucking corruption!
Sure, he was wearing just see the top he was wearing. He's wearing a sky blue fucking referee top.
Right. Anyways, the question I want to ask you, charges and all that aside, do you think Guardiola will renew for another season?
What do you mean aside? What a cheesy
the red herring.
It's not like Guardiola. Like, do you think Guardiola will renew based on?
No.
The charge. You don't think he'll earn it?
I think he's done with City anyway. Even if
So you think he'll be gone before the end of the season? Like he'll be gone
at the end of the season. I think there was rumors last year that he wasn't signing a new deal. But like, look, these things can change. But that's what I heard. Anyway, that's what I'd say will be.
Dan, what do you think, Mosley? You think he'll
go? I think if there was a clarity that that they weren't going to be penalised, I think that there's more chance of him obviously staying on. I think. With that in the air, he's right to kind of maybe like not give a decision, which seems to be the case, that there's no kind of definitive yes or no. Yeah, I think with Howard, I think he could technically win 5, is it? 5 in the bounce?
Yeah.
And won everything else with them. He's there a long time. So
Klopp
obviously went last season. Yeah. You'd imagine he might go and take maybe a bit of time out. Yeah, as well. Like he's been at it a long time. Yeah, that would be my feeling. I think would be that he'd go, but like that, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Mossy, you think he'll go?
Yeah, I don't know. I do think a lot depends on charges and where positions you're going to be in, and I think that's a huge influence on it. You could I think you can make an argument for either side, and the sort of thing you'd be guessing all day, because until it's announced, and you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They could be negotiating already. You wouldn't know, but. If he does decide to go, he doesn't know City. I think he's done everything for them, and he'll be celebrated as a legend.
That was interesting. The sporting director Bergenstein.
Yeah,
he's finishing at the end of the season, and
I love the way you went for his first name rather than his second name rather than his first name. What's his first name?
Tishki. Txiki. How the hell do you pronounce it? Tishki, whatever.
Bergenstein.
John Bergenstein.
He's an anchor man every time you hear that.
Was this lad there a long time, is he?
He's been there since 2012
wow.
himself, and Again, Serrano, I don't even want to go with the first name. The two of them boys were there at Barcelona when Guardiola was there, so they kind of lured him to Manchester. They were there for a few years, tried to get him, but what do you call it? Couldn't get him for a few years. Then eventually they did get Guardiola. Just interesting the fact that he is leaving now. You can read into it what you will. Does it have anything to do with charges, etc.? But what I read is that like it was a decision that's been made in the last year and a half. All right, we'll move on to Liverpool 2, Chelsea 1. That was a very good game. Liverpool, I thought Curtis Jones was fantastic. What's he called? Chelsea as well, they held their own. I thought they gave him a very good game. We will go to another penalty decision as well. Sancho. Was this a penalty? Was this not? The Jones second one, was that a penalty? Was it not? Dan, I'll get your view on it first.
Yeah, I think did you say Stonewall on Sancho? There was a Stonewall.
I actually think that one is a Stonewall penalty. He stands on his foot, like I think it's.
Yeah, I don't think it's Stonewall. But I would have given 2-1 to Liverpool.
I think red card, Dan. Send him off.
Yeah, I think that I genuinely think that it should have been 2-1 in penalties to Liverpool. I think would have been fair at halftime because I think that Jones won, even though Sanchez gets a tiny bit of the ball, I think he cleans him out as well. So I actually think we should have 2 penalties. And I think that Trent one is an interesting one because it's his stand. He's planting his foot, but he does plant it on his leg. So there is an argument there for like it wasn't intentional, but then you can argue Caldwell kind of just threw his leg up and hit Jones. I don't think he didn't intentionally go to try and kick him out either. But I think it would have been 2-1 in penalties, and I do think it was a red card. I think that was. I still think that they're both in that category, and I think actually Jota's movement completely does. Who was the centre back? Van Tussen, was it? What's his name?
Tussen.
Yeah, Tussen. Look, it wasn't. If the ball was going, I think more to kind of, it wasn't going directly at the goal, but I just it was so cynical. Took him cleanly out of it, so I would have had that as a red. And I think, both to answer your question, I think both that could have been a penalty for Chelsea, and I do think Liverpool should have 2 penalties.
Yeah. Good performance overall, a good game. Just a quick word on Chelsea. They were impressive in defeat. Lavia was actually very good. Reece James coming back was very good as well.
Yeah, that partnership is good. I think I mentioned on the podcast here that game that Lavia played earlier in the season where he looked good, and I know this is the problem with him is injury. Can he stay fit? But I think that partnership with him and Caicedo in the middle are a lot more solid. I thought they bossed a lot of the game in the first half actually. They controlled the game quite well with the two in there. James back again, like Lavia. Can they keep these lads fit? Because there's no doubt, like James was quality, one of the best right backs in the league a couple of years ago. But I thought the balance of the game, I did like some people were messaging me saying Liverpool were shite. Like I don't know. I think some people still look at Liverpool under Klopp, right? And my response to kind of the messages that were saying like, "Oh, Liverpool were shite," and I know they were shite. Is I think under Klopp, Liverpool would have tried to have got a third and possibly would have lost the game, or drew the game, but lost all 3 points. That's the difference, I think, in the way we managed that last 20 minutes, half hour. It wasn't like free flow and attacking football by any means. It was very much kind of, we're going to kind of try and control this game now because, like, that Chelsea front four is an excellent front four, but like on the balance of the game, they looked great up until they got to our box. Then they won Jackson and they might have more shot in the game. They didn't actually threaten Kelleher at all for the attacking threat that they posed at the top four. But I didn't think Liverpool. I just thought that they kind of just, it's a different style. It was very much didn't go to try and kill the game with a third. We were trying hold on to what we have. And again, if Chelsea get an equaliser, Slav would have been getting it in the neck for why didn't you go and try and kill the game. So like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I really enjoyed the last 20 minutes. It's a great the way they took Trent off, put Gomez on because Neto was causing a few problems down that side. Then for some reason they switched Neto to the right, putting Nkunku on the left, even though Nkunku was better through the middle, which I thought was strange. But the changes I think that Chelsea made late on and the changes that Liverpool made, I think they kind of killed Chelsea's momentum to try and get the equaliser. And then I think Liverpool's the changes they made were more positive by bringing Diaz on to give them more width and attacking break. But like, look, you can't argue, like they're conceding fuck all goals. They played now Chelsea and United, which are two of the teams that the start of the season we would have said would have been around the Champions League spots with them. So it's a massive game next weekend, and I'm pessimistic enough about it because I think it's a bigger test. And I think Arsenal, if Saka is back anyway, they need him back. it'll be a very tough test to go there and try and win. But I thought it was a good performance, and I do think Chelsea are solid enough as well. Like I wouldn't be their keeper though. Let me talk about that. Their keeper is they could do with finding someone who can pass the ball out from the back.
Well, they've like 8 keepers.
Wise.
Surely one of them can do it.
Like, he's so like it's amazing. It's like what it reminds you. It reminds you of somebody, like somebody who just isn't sporty at all and just isn't. The second the ball comes near them, they're like going to be awkward. He looks awkward every time he goes to kick the ball.
There's clear confidence issues there, though. Like he clearly
definitely.
is. He's being asked to do a game that he's not comfortable with. He's a good shot stopper most of the time, and you can he's been asked. Even I wouldn't be fully convinced with their centre halves playing out from the back. Like I think there's definitely a weakness there. I mean, Liverpool pressed them well. They really gave them issues, and Bournemouth pressed them really well in the game later on where they won 1-0, and they were a bit lucky to get away with but that will come. You can see things growing and developing at Chelsea for the positive. There's potentially a very solid midfield there, with great options going forward. Jackson has really improved from last year. Like that movement and that finish he wouldn't have done that last year. He would have fluffed that. Thought he was excellent. And
Gusto, isn't it as well? Your man Gusto is good.
Gusto, yeah, and he's only filling in for Cucurella, who was suspended. So and to be fair to Chelsea, they were missing Cucurella and Fofana for suspensions, and they'd started every other game for them in their backline, so their backline was disrupted. But I think if you could get a keeper in there that was more comfortable playing out from the back, it would eliminate a lot of mistakes and chances that Chelsea have given away. And I think I've been very impressed with what Maresca's done. We were laughing about them, making fun of them at the start of the season, the players they signed, and the sheer volume of them, and how is he going to make it work? But he's making it make it look good, and to have the quality of taking off Sancho, bring on Neto, and that there's a lot of positivity starting to develop around that Chelsea team. And it just was Liverpool were just a little bit more quality, a slightly higher level. But I think Chelsea are definitely on the up.
I thought Nunes actually, when he came on, he worked fierce well. I thought he actually was quite impactful from the defensive side. But anyway, when he came on, and I'd like to see us go now with giving Jones a run. I'd be happy enough to let Szoboszlai sit out for a while, because to be honest with you, part of the season he can't do anything really right. To be honest with you, he's outside of his running game, he's not bringing much quality to the table at all. So I'd be happy enough to put McAllister back in alongside Gravenberch and let Jones play in that advanced role. And there's no doubt he's technically good. Jones has always looked decent in some games, but he's never got a run of games. And then when he's had a run, he then picks up a knock or an injury, and he's out for a while. It's I'd like to see him get a run of 15, 20 games, and let's see is he good enough for Liverpool? Because that's the question mark I think that I would have had when you look at some of the other young English players that are coming through. We have Elliott, with Jones. Have they really progressed? For us, looking at a lot of the other young English talents that are coming through. But there's no doubt he was quality, and probably was the difference maker.
He grabbed the game yesterday, 100%. He was excellent. It was probably his best game for Liverpool, I'd say.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right, before we move on to United and Brentford, just a very quick one ahead of next Sunday. So Liverpool and Arsenal. Howard, what do you predict?
I think Arsenal have to. It's nearly a must win now at this stage.
Where is it?
It's in the Emirates. Yeah. I think if it's in Anfield, I would. I wouldn't expect Arsenal to get 3 points. But I think at this stage, even if we went 7 points behind, I'd be more worried about going 6 points behind City than 7 points behind Liverpool. And that's no disrespect to Liverpool, but it's just that they might fall off for a bit at some stage during the season. I think it's a must win for Arsenal. I think need to get Saka back, and hopefully I'm gonna go 3-1 or something. We'll get on predictions later, but 3-1 win to Arsenal.
Dan?
I think it'll be tight, and I don't think it'll be a great game to watch. Actually, I think it could be a bit ugly. And that I'd happily take a point now, though. If you offered me a point, I'd be happy enough for our start. To be both the Emirates.
Your fixtures, Dan, are a bit you have Leipzig away on Wednesday.
They're tough. Tough games
to go away to Arsenal. That's a bit of a bonus for Arsenal.
I definitely think it'll be. It's one of them where I think if Liverpool were to get the first goal with what's gone on with Arsenal, as you said, Howard, the kind of enormity I think of it. I think it would be still quite a hit to the title challenge for
Yeah,
Arsenal
yeah.
if Liverpool were to go down win. And I think then on the other side of it, it would increase, me and I think everybody's kind of taking Liverpool serious if they were to go with the Emirates and win. So I take it. I take a point now though. Yeah.
All right. All right. So Man United 2, Brentford 1. Moss, a quick word. What you thought about this game? Did we finally see a little bit of life out of Marcus Rashford?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, it was one of United's better performances in a long time. To be fair,
And great goals.
excellent goals. Created a lot of chances. Garnacho was phenomenal in the second half. Rashford was like our front. Bruno, Rashford, Højlund, and Garnacho all looked really good, sharp, and played really well, which has not happened. We went 1-0 behind in kind of controversial circumstances. De Ligt had dried blood in his head and was sent off again for the third time as the corner was given, and like Pinnock scored exactly where in De Ligt's position. So like they were fuming, like it was some of them got booked and tunnel with the referee and talking to the ref at halftime stuff. So they were properly fuming. And I was pretty nervous, to be honest, because we played all right and we're not a team with a lot of goals in us. And to go 1-0 down, I didn't know if we'd be able to bring it back. But second half performance, it was as good a performance I've seen in a long time for United.
Definitely, yeah. That was very
They
good.
were played. The goals were excellent. It was great to see Højlund. Such like beautiful flick from Bruno, and to take it so confidently in the little dink style that he did was very impressive. And yeah, look, there was positives in it. We're playing Martinez at our left back and Johnny Evans at our centre half because we're down to that and injuries already. So what does that mean? But Casemiro and Ericsson like were grand against Brentford. I don't know if they'll be against a tougher opposition, but overall it was a more positive day that we've seen long term.
Definitely, yeah. Just a quick word before we go on to the remaining fixtures. What do you make of Radcliffe telling Ferguson he's fired?
Yeah.
What do you make of him? I'm curious.
Look, if it makes sense, I think. Just it was handled very poorly. Like Ferguson's 82, 83. He's on 2 million a fucking year to be an ambassador.
That was his pension. That was his pension, Mossy.
Yeah,
like,
it was
look,
fucking.
Look, I think Ferguson I don't understand why they didn't approach him. It's like, look, we want to pull back on some responsibilities. Your salary would reflect that, and we'll manage him out of this. I felt like an accountant sat down somewhere, looked at books, and like, where can we save money? We can make 2 million if we cut him off.
And not just give him less money and keep him as ambassador. You think
put him off, turn off his machine.
Like, turn him off ambassador. Like, I do. Like, look, I think it was.
Poor Alex will be shopping in Lidl now.
Oh God.
Yeah. Well, look, Ferguson is a big reason why we have the Glaziers as well, so he doesn't get that.
It's just yeah, 100%. As an ambassador, I mean, look. Let's be honest. What does an ambassador do? And he
literally shows up.
Yeah,
you can't send Martinez to whatever thing. They send Ferguson to show up and represent the club. Look, I get him. You need them. They have a role. It should have been handled better, but I think the overall logic behind it made a lot of sense. He needs to pull back a bit. He's not involved in the club as he was, and they just wanted to pull him away. And there's been
I think you summed it up perfectly in the saying that, like, financially it makes obvious sense financially, but just in terms of PR, they could have handled it a lot better because
it showed a disrespect to a club legend who has half the state, like a standing stadium made off a statue of him outside the stadium. Like you need to have some appreciation of history and legacy, and it was completely ignored in that.
Just wheel him out at halftime and just say thanks for your service there.
It fucking just turned off his life support completely. Like,
is it Mika Richards and said he's ambassador?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's the same role, is it? Like ambassador?
He's club ambassador, whatever the hell that means. Like, but. Right, I just thought it was definitely worth getting Mossy's view on that.
A lot of media traction, actually. In fairness, it did, didn't it?
Yeah,
it did.
Yeah, it was an international break, though. Like, so
true.
True. Fair. Yeah, that's a very good point. Okay, so the remaining fixtures over the weekend: Southampton 2, Leicester 3. What do you call it? The highlight is for me, regardless of the comeback, was Vardy celebrating in front of the disabled section of the Southampton fans. What the hell, lad? There's gonna be a movie about him someday, and
it'll be a good one.
It's gonna be a very funny one. Yeah, absolutely. So what is that? Leicester number 7. Tell me if I get this right. Fatawu. His name?
Fatu.
Yeah,
He has a fantastic game at the
Yeah.
weekend. He's from Ghana. He had a fantastic game at the weekend, and he's power, speed, clocked one off the crossbar. He looked really, really good actually.
yeah. Your man Buonanotte is good as well. That they got.
Yeah,
He's yeah.
100%.
They definitely have enough, I think, in the forward positions to cause team problems. Yeah, I watched bits and pieces, and I thought Ramsdale was poor for the winner. I think he should have said that, should he?
Yeah,
And it
absolutely.
was a terrible goal to concede, like late on, but it just you could see, it did flick it on, and kind of you could see like Leicester come back into it. Then there was the red card, and it's like you're just looking at going, there's a third coming. You're just Southampton are. That was one where they just had to win that, didn't they? Like it was.
Yeah, but like decisions didn't go their way either. Like they probably should have had a penalty, and then 5 minutes later, Christie I got the red card and was gone off. Like as in they didn't get the rub of the green. They really did try to perform. Leicester come back into it and scraped it in the end. Like, but like it really was that sort of game where nothing went their way.
All right, so Ipswich 0, Everton 2. Everton is starting to put some sort of form together. Fulham 1, Aston Villa 3, Spurs 4, West Ham 1. David Moyes is somewhere laughing, at that result.
Lads, I was messing around and weekend there about it. I can't understand. They have no legs, and like they've no legs anywhere. No. I just don't know what's going on. I'm looking at it going, and I said I think on the pod there a couple of weeks ago. I don't understand. Like he's playing this high line, like Jesus, and like once they concede as well, like they've taken a few whackings already this season. West Ham, like they're so far it removed from the kind of, I suppose, the pragmatic, well organized, well oiled to a point David Moyes machine that they had over the last.
But this is it, Dan. This is the West Ham way, remember? This is the West Ham way. The spontaneousness, the possibility of conceding loads of goals.
People in the face and kicking them.
Yeah, and I did ask him. I asked him just at the weekend, like, how long will they give him before that? Because they are, when they turn, they're volatile. And I kind of read a small bit of the weekend. It seemed like there was a lot of stuff. There was starting to kind of murmurs. If they put it this way, they've United. They're at home against United next weekend, and I think if United go there and get the results, they'll really kind of ramp the pressure up on them because they have. I know they gave Ipswich a bit of a hockey, but outside of that,
I think they're in 15th, aren't they?
Their performances, their performance level, and they've signed players, they've no legs at all. And then it was interesting. I was with my brother the weekend. We were out just for a walk, and he mentioned me about and I forgot about it. Like Duran, remember Duran from Villa? They thought it was a done deal in the summer for him. He was interviewed about it. They thought the West Ham thing was pretty much over the line. I think it was in the end the West Ham wouldn't pay the money from. But you think about what he would have brought as the striker instead of the I think he's still injured, isn't he? You went Fulgrim. That they bought. But it's worried enough for him, to be honest with you. And they do have decent players in the forward positions. Like Kudus is a good player. It's stupid what he did. Like he was just asking for trouble, I think.
It was pure frustration just came out.
Yeah, it was, but you'd worry for them though if they can't start getting a solid base going, because they spent a good bit of money as well. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, 100%. What they call they do need to get going quickly, because the teams around them, you can see the other teams around them getting points much more quickly than West Ham. Southampton are the exception. Okay, last one was Newcastle 0, Brighton 1. And then tonight we have Nottingham Forest versus Crystal Palace. What a shit Monday night football. All right, Dan, fantasy football. How did everyone fare over the weekend?
Well, you know what? If you didn't have Haaland as your captain, you would have done all right.
Oh, really?
Well, look, I took the gamble myself again on Haaland, and he once again, I think, am I right in saying in the last 3 games he's had 1 shot or something? Is it, or is he had a shot in the last couple of games?
I don't look for these negative stats.
But anyway, it was most of the people in our league had Haaland as their captain. I think myself and 1 or 2 other people had Salah, but the majority had Haaland. So it wasn't a great week for many. It's still a game tonight, obviously, but I don't think too many would have that many Forest or Palace players. But Paddy Carney is still leading the way there with 539. He's been there since the start, actually. I think there since the first week he's been leading it, and he's still there going strong. And Saka
It
scored.
means nothing though. Let's be
Which
honest. It means nothing.
at this stage, no, it does. Yeah,
Too early, yeah.
yeah. It is very early on. But yeah, like pretty much, it was an average enough week for most who, as I said, didn't have Haaland. There's a lot of people as well that have Haaland that don't have Salah or Liverpool players. I've seen a lot of taking Liverpool players out based on their run of fixtures that they have coming as well. So I'm just looking here now. So Howard,
I actually
uh,
had Haaland captain, and I did pretty all right. I did
Howard.
52,
Man,
I think. I've
Oh, you're sliming a few off the bench here. I'm looking at it here now, Howard.
yeah. So
Yeah, you're saying as myself there. Yeah, 50, like 50 is good, like in fairness.
yeah.
You must have a Liverpool player, do you? Looking at here.
I don't have Trent. Yeah, I
No.
had I had a few a few Dwight McNeils and
Oh,
people like that did well for me.
yeah, Nicholas Jackson. Yeah, Raul
Martinez saved a
Jimenez.
penalty for me.
Jimenez is going well, isn't he? Actually,
Jimenez going very well,
Did very well,
very
yeah.
well, very well.
remember a couple of
He
years ago, he was quality. Like you know,
Yeah.
before he got his head injury, he was very good. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, looking at the table there, it's let me see, where's Moss?
Going down to
Oh, yeah,
18,
Moss.
that was a terrible
Oh,
week.
Jesus. Yeah,
But I've got
obviously
Danny Welbeck
yeah,
on the bench to come on with 9 points, so that'll boost me.
yeah, Welbeck will boost you up there. Yeah,
Keep
he's
the
going.
faith.
Norman
Keep the
going
faith,
well.
Moss.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Diaz
we'll
is
get
one there that's caught a lot of people giving out about that the weekend. It's a
Yeah,
strange
he
one
hasn't done
on the
because
bench.
I actually should have
yeah,
dropped. I kind of knew he wouldn't play after flying back, and I was like,
yeah.
oh, he could come on and do something, and then he didn't. Well, he played well when he came on, but he didn't score.
You know the way all these players come back from international football, like from all over the world. Like, do you think they're like chartered back on private planes, or like I know they're
They're
not
chartered
sitting.
together, I think, in one like I think they
Yeah,
all. I think a lot of South Americans fly together. I think wasn't that
I read
the
that
case, Dan?
before. I think yeah,
Interesting. Just I wondered, would it the likes of Ederson and would City give them a plane, or would the likes of say Ederson and Allison get a plane together and stuff like that? Just curious.
What goes on in the plane? All these kind of cool things that you wonder.
Exactly. 100%.
it's
What's
all
it called?
it's. I'm just looking at it, like there was a Bardiol as well. Like not many have him. I have him, and like it's like his goal. Like it was
Oh.
just he's
Fantastical.
For a
I
centre
just
back,
can't
technically.
you can't
like.
give him the space. He actually is.
Yeah.
He's quality,
very-
great strike,
brilliant.
isn't he?
Brilliant player.
But yeah, so like it's kind of it's still tight enough there at the top. I got a bit of a boost there. Howard, you said yourself, I'd say would be in the top 10, and you're not far off it either, Moss. You don't think? Yeah, it's like it's fair tight.
Just a reminder as well, in this little league that the three of you have gone, the loser is it the loser will be doing some sort of a forfeit or a bet or something, and the winner of the fantasy
I
football
cooked it in there. Go ahead, bring us out for a steak dinner. Whoever loses.
Yeah, I think that's
we'll decide on something, and then the winner of the overall thing as well, they'll get a football jersey for a club of their choice. So that was fantasy football. Cheers for that, Dan. And also, just a very side note, thank you very much to everyone who was listening and subscribing and following. Please continue to do so. Super Six prediction.
Can I just before we want, you reckon like City are home to Southampton next week?
Oh yeah,
is this where I need to roll the dice here and get
maybe Dan? Could be Dan.
100%. I mean,
I haven't used the wild card yet, but I've been waiting like to see when is the right time. I don't know what, for whatever reason, I just said, fuck it, I'd leave it, let it roll for another week. Even though they were away at Wolves, but I just had this feeling. I was like, he hasn't been playing great. They're back after the international break. He mightn't do. He can't keep doing what he was doing at the start of the season. That was always my belief, was that he can't. Surely he's human somewhere along the lines that he can't keep doing it. But like they have a few big like games coming, like good fixtures coming up City. Like they have a decent run of games, but gee, he could really do a job in Southampton with me. Like.
Absolutely. I was looking at the fixtures, just again, side note. Was it Brighton away, Villa away, and Liverpool away? Like our three kind of toughest fixtures before it's like mid-January or something like that. But anyways, that's besides the point. I do think he will. I think we will do well against Southampton at home on Saturday. So
you would have thought you would have done well at home against Wolves this weekend, and it didn't happen.
We were away at Wolves.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay, Moss. Just get your facts right.
Yeah, I just wondered, what's the story at Foden? What's Foden not starting at all?
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Jack doesn't like to talk about it. I brought it up here a few times.
Let's talk about it. Let's start a dialogue. I don't know what the hell the story of Foden is. There was talk that he was ill or that he was sick, but I mean, He's on the bench a lot of weeks. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it just seems like you're lacking creativity there at the minute with De Bruyne and him out, like, and
Mm.
he's sitting on the bench, like, and with Rodri out, it is a bit of creativity lost with him, like, so I don't know. I just feel like
100%, yeah.
and they seem to be struggling to find spaces and create spaces. I
Yeah,
don't know.
like
It seems
They're
like
winning. They're winning. That's the problem.
they're winning, I suppose.
If they
Maybe
start
I don't
dropping
know.
points, they'll start just bringing them in.
I had read now again, I done I done a Howard on this now. I went deep diving into the world of X just to see what is the story, what's going on.
Yeah.
The common trend now again, take this. The common trend that comes up is that he got glandular fever after the summer tournament, and that his energy levels, it's week to week with him, that he can't train properly, and that he's
Okay.
been suffering with that since. And that's why he's
That's
been
interesting.
used,
At least there's
used
yeah.
sparingly. That was the best one that I could come up with. There was other stuff that were said that I won't say on this podcast of what he was. As you can imagine, in the wonderful world of X and what was being said. But that seemed to be, there was a trend on him having a glandular fever, and that it was, that basically he returned with it. And that can stay in your system for quite a while and impact your energy levels. It would make sense for a while, like, because it's not as if he's out of the team. He's on the bench. He's been used sparingly. He's either been coming on or playing and getting minutes here and there. But yeah, it's amazing because he was like the best player in the league last year, and he feels like he hasn't kicked the ball really, isn't it? Like,
yeah, 100%. It does. It feels like his season hasn't started, to be honest. Okay, so Super 6, the 6 fixtures, they're Champions League fixtures, so over the midweek. Arsenal and Shakhtar, Villa and Bologna, Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund, Atlanta and Celtic, RB Leipzig and Liverpool, and City and Sparta Prague. So, Howard, we'll go with you first. Arsenal and Shakhtar.
I'm going to go 3-0 Arsenal.
Very good. Villa and Bologna.
That's me again, is it?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? I'll go 2-1 Villa.
2-1 Villa. Okay, Dan, RB Leipzig and Liverpool.
Can I just say, I just done horrendous the weekend. I don't know how you got on, but I had an absolute mare in this. Got 2 points. 2 points is what I got.
Did you all remember to do your fixtures?
Yeah,
I did.
I did.
I would have been better off not doing them. Like, it was fucking so bad. Like, anyway, so what was the game?
Sorry, RB Leipzig and Liverpool.
I go for Liverpool. I think this will be an open game. I think.
Yeah, be a good game.
I go 2-1. I know Leipzig have started well. I think.
Has Klopp started his new position with Red Bull?
Do you know what? I don't know if he started yet, but I didn't realize that that there was so much hatred of Red Bull with the Leipzig are really hated in Germany.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of and that he got an awful lot of abuse for taking the role of both Mainz and Dortmund. Both had like they were going to town on him for, like, apparently this is like sacrilege what he's done.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't aware of when I don't know were you aware of it. I wasn't aware of it when he
I saw it. I read the kind of all the backlash now. Like, look, it is what it is. Like, but just get on with it. But I mean,
they don't follow RB Leipzig. Don't follow the same ownership model that's supported by the rest of the league. So
yes,
that's the big
issue.
issue.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
Like, you can understand why they're not like they took a tiny second division team, put a load of money in them, changed their name, changed their crest, changed their jersey, like built a new stadium. Like they basically erased the previous history of the Leipzig team. But like, they're doing phenomenally well in the Bundesliga, and if they get success, they're going to get people supporting them, and they'll continue to grow. So I think that's all a hullabaloo that'll come initially, and it'll settle down after a while. Like.
Yeah. Sorry, Dan, your prediction.
No, I go 2-1 Liverpool. That as well. Yeah, but I think it'll be a tough enough game. I think they started well, and as Massey said there, it seemed to always inherit decent players that they seem to be able to sell on them for big money. And your man that they got, did they get your man? Did they sign him or did they loan him? Your man Siemens, did they get him? No,
he's loaned. Yeah,
he's on loan.
Loan. He's a tasty enough player. I think he's good.
Yeah, no, they're consistent. Front three is pretty good, and they play that aggressive high press across all the clubs, and yeah, they're going to be a tough fixture. Now, they're the sort of team that you could hammer either if you got them open, but I think it'll be a tight enough game.
Atlanta and Celtic, Dan.
Our good friend Celtic. Oh, they're going to get another absolute hocking away in Italy. Atlanta are solid too. A good side. Yeah. I think it'll be 4-0 Atlanta, and we'll just watch the goals flow in.
Very good. All right, Massey, Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, I think it's in Madrid, so
Yeah.
I kept it tight. I
Okay.
think 2-1 to Madrid.
Very good. And then final game is Man City and Sparta Prague.
Again, City at home, so I went 3-1 to City.
Yeah,
Could be
we always concede, like we're conceding
Mm.
consistently.
Your group is the teams you got that were dirt. Like you
Yeah.
won't even half fill your ground for half of them. Like some of the you look at
Who
the
was it?
pictures that
Thanks,
I
Dan.
thought you already played Sparta Prague. Who was the
it's
team you played
fucking
last time?
puke.
Nah, I
Some
can't even
other,
remember.
yeah,
Those
some other-
Bratislava.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
what's
It
the
was
point?
a-
Like, yeah, like they're not even in the Champions League, really, are they? Like, you know, they're like just playing friendlies during the week, like,
Yeah.
for like if you think about like from like a keeping players fit, like,
I know again a side point here as well, but this whole kind of creation of this new league format as well. Like, I mean, you can pick the top. What is it? How many teams are in 36?
oh yeah, sorry, go on, yeah,
36. I mean, you can get rid of like you already know more or less who the bottom 8 are going to be, and they're going to be gone. So I mean, in terms of kind of making it more competitive, like you'd argue, are they actually making it more competitive at all?
I like it, you see, because we got a good run of
Yeah,
games.
I
We're
know.
playing
I know.
good teams.
Your
If
point,
if I had Durs though, like I'd be looking at it going,
yeah.
like looking at a lot of the
What's
Like
teams.
the
that-
point of being in the
it's
Champions League?
it's not exciting. Like Dana, your point is 100% valid in that like you have got Liverpool have some really good competitive games.
I like it, Jim.
Yeah, whereas
Yeah.
like some of the City's games, some of like other teams as well, like strong competitive teams like European teams playing this dirt that like no, well,
Yeah.
let's be honest, they shouldn't be in the Champions League. They're there to make up numbers and to kind of make UEFA look good and think that they are making it competitive.
Yeah, and it doesn't look
That's
it
it,
doesn't look good though when it's supposed to be the elite competition.
Yeah, yeah.
And like your team's getting done 7 or 8,
Yeah.
by 7 or 8, like that.
yeah.
Regardless of the discrepancy in the money and the budget and everything like that, like it shouldn't really be happening in the most competitive league. See the talk there around the Super League is that actually starting to rear its head.
Yeah.
You follow that?
I saw the message you sent on to the group that like it's starting up in September 25 or something. If City get thrown out of England, you know well where they're going. Like
yeah.
that's the
Happens to
place where
coincide.
yeah, look, weird what can these conversations that can go on behind closed doors and that. But anyways, look, if we were to play in the Super League, it was a place for
Imagine they playing Crew, Alexander, and then at the weekends then playing like Real Madrid during the week or whatever. Like.
yeah, it'd be funny. Very good. But anyways, look, it's a place where the footballing icon John Stones can do his thing.
Yeah, it's good that it's back again though as well. Like the midweek game's good as well now.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. What's you call it, lads? That's pretty much it for us. We'll be back next Monday. Any other business before we finish up? Howard, keep the faith. You will be fine. Don't worry.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. All right, Moss, Dan, and any other business?
We'll have to organise our Christmas party.
Yeah, it's Dan. Dan's like a bowl child back at class. Like, just let us go and eat our dinner, Dan. Dan's like, I'm thinking of something.
You know what, Howard? I think we should talk more about refs. What's your
yeah. Well, I'm sure there'll be something next fucking weekend.
We must organise our Christmas party. We'll throw a message around the WhatsApp there.
Actually, yeah, it is creeping up. Like,
yeah, absolutely. All right, lads, we will leave it there, and we'll be back next Monday evening. So again, thank you to all who are listening, following. Please continue to do so. All right, lads, have a very good week. Okay.
Cheers, Zach.
Cheers.
All right, good luck.